What is going on, everybody? Stas here. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the top 10 stocks that I'm looking to buy as we're getting into this week and into the fresh new month of September here in 2020. And I also want to break down and refresh your memories because I know, guys, the weekends, they clog up your memories sometimes. I want to break down what happened last week in the S&P 500, doing a quick little technical analysis there, and in general, what the futures are looking like right now. Just like every Sunday on this video, we're going to talk about the futures, taking a look at the S&P futures, the Dow, NASDAQ, silver, gold, oil, and so forth. So a lot to go over in this video. If you guys find value, hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and check out all the free links down below if you guys want to join our Strive Smart Discord chat, Strive Smart Facebook group, and if you guys want some free money, 2 free stocks from Webull. Those are valued up to $1,400. And by the way, that promotion runs out here on September 1st. So if you guys want those 2 free stocks, use my link down below, deposit $100. You get 2 free stocks, and I also get 2 free stocks since it is an affiliate link. So let's get into it here, guys, starting off with the S&P 500. And pretty much, it doesn't take a mad scientist to see this. It doesn't take a genius to see this either. The markets are being dominated by the bulls. The S&P 500 last week, which, by the way, is the 500, it's comprised of the 500 largest publicly traded U.S. companies. It went from $3,400, it double bottomed here on the 24th of August, and pretty much it was smooth sailing from there. From $3,400, the double bottom, we broke out on Tuesday, rallied up, Wednesday rallied up, Thursday we rallied, we hit an all-time high, but we did see a bit of resistance at 3,500. But don't worry, guys, because on Friday the bulls came in and broke us right out of 3,500 with about an hour left in the market. Pretty much in power hour, that is where the bulls broke out of 3,500 and roared all the way up to 3,510 and hitting an all-time high yet again, guys. So overall, I mean, other than that little resistance at 3,500 on Thursday and for all day Friday pretty much until power hour, other than that, I mean, the bulls have just been full head of steam. And with the way the markets closed on Friday with that full head of steam, I believe that it's going to continue heading into this week. I know it sounds crazy. But I think the markets could go even higher. And it's really because of what happened with the Fed meeting and this whole new zero interest rates for 5 years and this whole approach to inflation that the Fed is taking. And of course, the endless tools that they're using. I mean, this is very bullish for the stock market, and that is why the markets rallied up. I mean, it makes sense, right? That is why we're seeing all of this bullish momentum in terms of the S&P, and that really goes for the Dow and the NASDAQ as well, especially for the NASDAQ, as we've been seeing tech crush it over the past couple of months, and especially these past couple of weeks, guys. And when it comes down to the futures, the ES right now, the E-mini S&P 500, is currently up 0.22%, up about 8 points. So the rally is continuing based here on these futures. We hit a high of 3514.75 on these futures just about now. Pretty much we're at the highs right now. So bulls are still in charge, it seems like, as the futures are gapping up here. And when it comes to the NASDAQ futures, those are also up 19 points, up about 0.16%. And the Dow futures are also up, even more so. They're up 0.3%, up about 82 points. So the guys, the bulls, they're full steam in charge still, even in the futures market here. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be green tomorrow just because the futures are up, but it's a good sign. Let's just put it that way. It is a good sign, but always remember that the futures can flip-flop on you at any point. So don't be too surprised if we wake up and the futures are red. I mean, that does happen, but overall, again, I'm leaning more towards going higher. I'm leaning more towards on the bullish side at this point, and the technicals really back that up. And when it comes down to gold, gold futures are also up. They're up about 0.3%, up about 6 points. They hit a high of 1983 about an hour ago, so actually more like 20-30 minutes ago. So gold's looking strong. Silver futures, they're looking pretty strong as well, up over 1%, up about 32 cents. So precious metals are up. The stock market futures are up. Let's take a look here at crude oil /CL. The CL, we can see, I forget what contract are we on right now. I haven't honestly been looking at crude oil too much recently, guys. But yeah, let's take a look. Either way, I mean, it's been a crazy ride for all these different commodities, all these different markets. I mean, it's just been unbelievable. And it seems like, again, the bulls are going to continue this week, and especially if the S&P stays above 3,500. I think if it does, we might see a leg up even higher. And I know that's crazy, but we could be seeing a push maybe to $3,550, $3,600. Let's see what happens, despite the RSI being very, very overbought. And let's say we do end up selling off, we do crack 3,500 on the downside. Where could the S&P go to? Well, I've been on record saying we could see a pull down to 3,400, maybe 3,420, maybe 3,450, right around this 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. That is where I'm thinking that we could get to if we do see a little bit of a cool off here. And I would love to see that, quite honestly, as I do think we are a bit overbought, but it could really go either way at this point. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below in the comments section. Now, let's talk about the top 10 stocks that I'm looking to buy. And guys, I know we've been talking about these stocks a lot. Some guys are probably thinking, some of you at least, Stash, you're talking about the same stocks too much. Well, the truth is, there's these stocks, and I've been making money with them, so I figured even if they're the same ones, I'm going to share them with you all. And they're Tesla and Apple. These two, I know we've been talking about them a lot, guys, but they've been the talk of the town, and they have finally split. You guys can see here, Tesla, it's trading at $440. It's not trading in the 2000s anymore. It's trading at $440 per share. So the 5-to-1 split is official, and it seems like we're going to be in an interesting spot. Let's just put it that way, because we know the value of Tesla didn't change. The intrinsic value of the business did not change, but psychologically speaking here, people might look at this and think, oh, the price is lower, we're going to end up buying into Tesla. So that is why I'm watching it. And on top of that, it was down about 5% on Friday, down about 25 points here, $25 in this new, obviously 5-to-1 price split. So it was down a decent amount on Friday. So we might see some sort of rally. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to explode 20%, but now we might start to see some new investors and new traders take advantage of this. And we might see a move back up to 450, 460. So I'm watching it for that reason exactly on this pull down. You guys can see on this 10-day, 30-minute chart, if this trend holds, this can be just easy money, bread and butter, gravy money type money, guys. This might be just easy money at the end of the day. We'll see what ends up happening. And yeah, from 440 to 460, that could be a move. And you guys know that I'm an Apple. I bought some last week. I'm holding it through the split, and Apple went from about $500. Now it's down to $124. It went through, guys. The 4-to-1 split went through, and Apple is trading towards those highs. I mean, it's no surprise. We're about $5 off the high here from about $129 down to where we are now at $100, $124.81. And truth is, same with Tesla. We might see a psychological pop here because the value didn't change, but psychologically people might hop in because the quote-unquote price is cheaper, right? So maybe a move from 120, 125 out of 129, 130, 135. That is kind of what I'm banking on here, and that is why I held my Apple shares. And overall, I mean, doesn't this look pretty bullish to you? Take a look at what I'm drawing here. If we end up taking out this resistance, out of this wedge, you guys can see it for yourselves. If we break out of 125, 126, Apple could be off to the races again, back to 129, 130, 135. That is where I think it's ultimately heading, and I have my money where my mouth is. I mean, again, I've told you guys I've been buying Apple. Last week I bought Apple, and I plan on holding it. So those are the top two for this week, just because they're so massive. I know I've been talking about them a lot, guys. I know, but they are the top two because they're in the split. They're in the heavy spotlight here in the media, investors, traders, everybody's eyes on Apple and Tesla. So you guys got to watch them because there could be money to be made. And another one here is DLTR, also known as Dollar Tree. And Dollar Tree, guys, took a bit of a beating from 108 pre-earnings down to about $94. It's lost roughly 15%. Actually, let's not exaggerate. More like 13% of its price there. And it seems like, it's a falling knife. We haven't really found a bottom because we tried bottoming out on the 27th, failed. We dropped even lower on the 28th, and we are trying to consolidate again right now, as you guys can see on the 5-day, 5-minute, but we haven't fully broken out quite yet. So we are in danger of falling even further. But big if here, guys, if we end up holding this trend, let's say on this 90-day chart, you guys can see it, this could end up being a play. And let me tell you, their earnings weren't that bad. They came in EPS at $1.10 versus 92 cents estimated. So they got a nice profit there, beat estimates. And revenue came in at $6.28 billion versus $6.2 billion estimated. So they beat on revenue, and that revenue's up 9.4% year over year. And on top of that, Q2 same-store sales were actually up 7.2%, and they ended the quarter with a crazy $1.75 billion in cash. So it's a pretty solid earnings report, I would say. I mean, it's not a grand slam by any means. There were some hiccups, I believe, in terms of the earnings that I was reading. Let me double check here, but it wasn't a grand slam earnings, but it wasn't terrible by any means, and the stock's down a decent amount. So I'm thinking this could be an overreaction, and if we hold this trend, we could end up getting a bounce back play. So watch out for DLTR and also HPQ. I've been getting this a lot in the comments. Das, what are your thoughts on HP? I'm bullish HP, guys. Based on these earnings, they did pretty decent. EPS came in at 49 cents. Nice little profit there. Revenue came in at $4.3 billion versus 14.3 billion versus 13.3 billion. So they beat on revenue, and the personal system sales, those were up 7% year over year. So nice growth there. And the notebook sales, they were up 32% year over year. And laptop demand, especially as we're in this work from home type of environment, and this trend's going to continue, the laptop demand is looking very, very strong. So pretty good earnings there from HP. The stock was up 6% on Friday. And overall, I mean, it's been moving like crazy from $18 last week all the way up to about $20. And I think this trend's going to continue. If we pull back a bit, let's say on this yearly chart, you guys can see there's more upside to the 20s. I mean, up to about $20, $22, $23. And if we zoom out, let's say to this 3-year chart, even more upside to the 27s. And on top of that, we've gotten some analysts here raise their price targets. And we know that we shouldn't always rely on analysts to make decisions, but it never hurts to have an analyst on your side if you're looking to buy a stock. So this could be a good play moving forward on all of those reasons. Strong sales, analysts are pushing up the price due to all these buy ratings. Technically speaking, we broke out of $18, $19, big resistance areas. Now we have a big gap from 20 up to about the mid-20s. So I'm liking HPQ here moving forward, and I think it's a buy. But as always, guys, do your own due diligence, do your own research. Do not buy anything based on my opinion or anybody else's opinion at that matter. So another one here that is breaking out of resistances and is getting into a pretty interesting price target is Intel, and it's getting into my price target here of $50, $50 to $51, where I would like to pick up some shares and where I've been on record saying I think Intel could break out at these price levels. So we can see ever since it took that massive drop from about 61 down to about 47. It's been consolidating, hovering for about a couple weeks at this point from about $47 up to about $49. And now if we zoom into this 20-day chart, you guys can see we saw a big bullish move on Friday. It took us out of $49.50, $50 took us out of two resistances there. And now we're looking to take out the level from back on the 19th of August. That was a resistance at about $50.50. And it seems like we closed on top of that as a new support. So I'm not jumping into Intel quite yet. But if we get a gap up tomorrow and a move up to $51, that is where I'm looking to enter a position. Because I think above $51, this thing could rally up 52 and even higher, guys, even higher. I mean, there's a lot of potential. This stock's gotten crushed. So over time, I mean, it can get back to the mid to high 50s. So I'm watching Intel very closely, and UPS is another one here that, yeah, it's pretty high up in price. It's done very well recently, but it seems like, I mean, it's consolidated for a couple weeks here. You guys can see it for yourselves. Ever since it hit 160, I mean, ever since the middle of August, it's gone from 160 to about 160. So it's done nothing pretty much, consolidating. But you guys can see this past week, more towards the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, we had a green day followed by another green day. And it seems like we're trying to make a move off these moving averages. It seems like the bulls are trying to get us out of these resistance levels, mainly at 162, 163. So I think, as crazy as it sounds, yeah, guys, I think that if we break 163, UPS is looking to make a higher high. It's honestly looking to rip up even higher, maybe mid 160s, high 160s, low 170s. That is where I think UPS could be going to. And the next one here is ALTRIA, not the sexiest stock by any means, not a high flyer, but I think now that we broke $42, $42.50, big resistance there, right? It was a resistance ever since the middle of April all the way up to pretty much the middle of August, so 4 full months. You know, ever since we broke out of there, more bulls have been coming in, and I think ALTRIA has a good shot of getting to $47, and on top of that, it has a nice dividend of around 7-8%. So as you guys wait for that price appreciation, you can collect some dividends as you wait. You know, this could be maybe a longer term swing trade, you know, a year or two. You know, this could be that type of trade, at least in my personal opinion, right? And another one here that isn't the craziest stock, not a high flyer by any means, but is showing a breakout very similar to ALTRIA, although this one's still under a main resistance, unlike ALTRIA. I think if Coke breaks out, it could end up turning into ALTRIA, but, you know, you can see at about $49.50, Coke has struggled ever since the beginning of April. We failed there once, twice, 3, 4, and now this could be the 5th time. We just have to see what happens this upcoming week. You know, if we end up breaking 50, holding it, I think Coca-Cola could eventually get to the mid-50s, 52, 55. That is where I think we're heading. And another thing worth noting is there is a dividend payout coming up. And typically, I'm sure many of you guys know this, but typically when a dividend company pays a dividend, that day, and sometimes a couple days after the dividend, whatever, it falls the price of the dividend. The price of the stock falls the price of the dividend. So watch out for that. You know, as Coca-Cola is around $49.50, maybe it pays its dividend, it falls down a bit. That could end up triggering more selling. We'll see what ends up happening. But if we make a clear-cut break out of 50, I might pick up some shares. We'll see what ends up going down there. And two more, ULTA, ULTA. They reported earnings this previous week. Decent earnings. Nothing grand slam out of the park type of earnings, but it's decent earnings. And the stock went from 220 up to 270. Now it's sold off to about 237. So we'll see if this ends up holding. I mean, 230 I've been on record saying, and on these videos recently, if 230 holds, 235, maybe we can get a dip buy here and ride it back up to 250, maybe back up to 270. So I want to see if we do find some sort of, support. If it cools off a bit, if it does, that is where we could end up buying in on a stock that did decent in earnings, popped up, sold off, opened up that margin of profit. I think there's potential here. And another one that sold off is NIO, 7% actually of a sell-off on Friday. And this is because they're offering 75 million fresh shares. And this brought the stock down, guys. And quite honestly, it's much needed. I hope the stock goes down even lower. Let's be honest. I would love to see it go down to $16, $17. And it's because I'd pick up more shares. I'd pick up more shares at $16, $17, and heck, maybe even low 18s, high 17s this week. If it ends up getting there, I'm interested. Despite these 75 millions, this new share offering worth of American depository shares, I'm interested in picking it up. So NIO is one of those that's very hot. Be careful with it. It's risky, guys, but it does have that momentum, so we could continue riding onto it. And those are 10 stocks. Those are the 10 top stocks that I'm looking to buy. There are some bonus ones. If you guys want some bonus ones, if you stuck till the end, some bonus ones are Space, Virgin Galactic. Another one is Upwork. I'm in Upwork right now. Workhorse, of course, WKHS. These are ones that I'm all in with actual money, right? And Starbucks has been one that I'm loving. It's been doing very well. McDonald's as well. Cheesecake Factory is another one I'm watching. So these are the main ones that I'm watching, that I have money in, that I'm looking to buy into if I don't have money in already. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below in the comments. Don't be shy. I love commenting back to all you guys. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Join our Strive Smart Discord chat and Facebook group. And don't forget to claim your 2 free stocks from Webull. Those are valued up to $1,400. Link down below in the description box. And remember, that runs out here on September 1st, this whole promotion. So get your 2 free stocks, deposit $100. That is how you get them. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.